Well, good morning everybody. My name is Dr. JD Swanson and welcome to 15 Minutes of Thought. Today what I want to do is I want to talk about Uchi Uke, and in particular as it expands through the grading basics, right, or the testing basics, especially this predominant JK, ISK of Kanazawa's organization and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about just the natural course of the block, a couple little bits and pieces, a couple little details that will help you out. And then that will be it for today. So probably fairly short. So let's get started. Hey. Us. Very good. So Uchi Uke, the key thing that I think about in this is actually the load. When you make that load for this technique, quite often you'll see people come out. It can either be hand straight or hand closed, or arm coming underneath. This you see quite often. A lot of people load this high and under the armpit, right? So besides having a smelly hand poo, right, what will happen is that you're not actually blocking anything. If I get my handy dandy stick from here, right, and if I put this as an opponent coming in, if I block over under my armpit, all I manage to do is completely miss any technique that's coming in at the chudan level. I can block jodan perfectly okay, but chudan level, completely miss. It's only if I get underneath, and you can see here that I manage to block my technique, manage to block the incoming technique. Can't talk this morning. So make sure under here to cover anything from here up. So make this load here and then make the block. Make that block. Don't expand as you make the technique. Keep one fist width out, but feel the wrist expand away from you, not kind of here like an 80s dance, but expand away from you. Expand away. Expand away. Expand away. So with that, what we want to do to start with, just to get the arm action, is you can do this in several stages. Number one, just practicing here and just making the block to about a 30-degree angle on the side. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The second one, once you've done that, practice that, right? Check hand position. Again, I have palm down, right on my hip. Other hand straight out or pointing towards my target. Remember, this is active. This is doing something. So from here, feel that motion. So with that, give that simple exercise a go. Working just on arm action. Give it a go, 20, 30 reps either side, stop, then come back to me. Off you go. Excellent. So the next one now is to engage the hip and the body. So as you move, we're going to do this again from the hachida or the shizentai position. As you make the load, now feel like there's a piece of elastic from your hip to your elbow. So here I'm stretching the elastic, now I shorten the elastic. And my hip moves accordingly. Again, you want it in that same classic Hami position. If I do the Vulcan Live Long and Prosper, I can think of that, right? But that's the feeling, that's the position I want my hips to be in. Reload to neutral, feel the elastic stretch, then out. Feel the elastic stretch, feel the elastic stretch, feel the elastic stretch, feel the elastic stretch. Good. Now, just a little comment, something that's really important as you're practicing the arm action this time. Always ensure that the arm that's making the block always goes on the outside of the covering hand. Don't bring it on the inside. Always bring it on the outside. Otherwise, it's like washing the outside of the windows from the inside. It just doesn't work. So make sure outside. And this is the same in hand sandan. The Uchi Uke always goes on the outside. Right, and so forth. Manji Uke, always on the outside, right? Within ISK JK. So, without further ado, try here. Think hip, rubber band, this compression between the elbow and hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Practicing that 20, 30 times, then come back. Good, press pause. Excellent, so you've got those two now, right? So the idea of the hip moving, now put it into stance. So it's exactly the same action. All you want to think about from here is this load, so think expand here. feel. Then as you come forward, feel that opposite hip action, the reverse hip rotation. The rubber band is stretched. As the leg comes out, turn. Come up, feel as the leg goes out, the hip bang fires, turn. So that feeling. As you become better at this, so initially it might be just sort of all together. The second level maybe as you step might be out, and then the last step of course is just feeling just the whole thing connect. So moving the hips fast, but coordinating the hip action with the elbow action is key in that technique. Again, it's a drop down, the arm pushes out in an outward fashion towards your target to that 90-degree position. Give that a go. So just stepping here, blocking, load, expand, load, expand, and so forth. Here, load, expand, load, expand. That feeling. Off you go. Excellent. So you've tried it stepping. Now try to make it fluid. So again, feel as the technique feels. Feel the elbow and the legs connected and move together. Move them together through the motion. So you might need to dial down the power, but just simply feel that nice fluidity in the technique. Feel the activity in this hand. This lead hand is not just passive. It's not just there going and doing whatever. Make it real. Whether it's blocking, whether it's just punching, right? But make it do something as you step. Make it do something as you step. So now, practice the timing of the technique. This does something, whatever it is. This hip, this elbow, this leg are connected. This does something with its nikite, taisho, punch, whatever flavor you want. And then feel as it comes out. So the whole thing becomes timed together as you move through. So give that a go, now making it more fluid. Off you go. Excellent. So there is one more sort of tiny piece that I often try to add in here, and that's the timing of the rotation. For me, I try and connect the drive of the back leg, the rotation of the hip, and the rotation of my arm together. And those happen right at the end of the technique, right at the point of kime, so to speak. They allow, so you end up just like in a punch, you've got the push of this leg, the connection through my center, and the drive of the rotation of my hand to sort of happen together, right at the end. Notice the front foot wasn't involved. That's just stopping me falling on my face. But the true timing is this, this, and this together. It's the same in Uchi Uke and any other block for that matter. As you make that rotation, I feel here that my block just comes up, and as it makes contact, that's when I need the drive of my back leg, the drive of my hip, and the rotation of my wrist. So if I do it just standing, I would rotate, pull almost to here, right? As this comes in, this is where it would make contact. And now it's now when my drive of my hip, drive of my leg, and drive of my arm occurs. So as I step through, as I make this, it might be here. Now it's connected. Now I need this end finishing point of the technique as I drive. Here, expands. Now I feel this is where I need that connection of that rotation piece. And this is preparing you for when you're in Jiu Kame, right? I'm already at this position effectively. So all I need to do now is just focus my hip, focus my leg, focus my block to make the block itself, right? So that timing piece is something that you can build on and work on as you advance. Excellent. So give that a go, have a play with that for a couple of minutes, then come back. So press pause. Excellent. So you've tried that. Now from here we're going to add in the two punches. And this is fairly, or the first punch, which is Okazaki. So this here block, think about that tension that's still in the leg. The leg is straight but not locked, right? I still have room to be able to drive my hip. You know this from every other class that we've talked about. Feel that rotation and push. Not 1, 2, Just one explosion. So from here, now of course we need to change our arms. Just fire the opposite hand out, make the block. We can now drive. Excellent. So that's nice and easy. Ideally, feel the push of this leg and the connection of the hip, then the drive of the hip. So that's sort of pum-pa as it goes. Not pum, pum, pum-pa. Continue to expand. So you're continuing along. If you imagine the expansion of your back leg, you're just continuing that piece. Continue the expansion, the rotation of the hip. The hip rotates and it continues. Boom, one and it just continues. One and it continues. One and it continues. You want that sort of pa, pa, pa feeling as you continue through that. So that's now for Gyakuzuki. So practice Uchi Uke, Gyakuzuki, up and back to your heart's content, then come back. Excellent, so you've done that. Now we add in the Kazami Zuki, yeah? So as you make that drive, feel from here, one. Now as you drive, you're already in Mahame here. What you want to do, and there's two ways you can think about it. One is simply expand off the shoulder, pump the leg, and have a slight push on the arm. So use from here an additional squeeze in the back arm, that extra push, and feel as I go, I simply hinge off my back hip a little bit deeper forward. I'm not thinking of dropping my front knee. That puts pressure on my front knee, and to be quite frank, to me it feels like I'm overextending my front leg, my front knee. Rather, what I think about it is I simply think about my rear leg pushing with what little tiny amount of room it's got to make the technique. I don't see how it's just kind of mushy? Feel rather just this push of the back hip to make the drive. So again, you want hip, body, same. One, then slam the door shut. Two. So here, feel that push, not full push. Feel under, push, push. Both those techniques together. So now how it's becoming is it's this Uchi Uke expand, push. Expand, push. So what I'm doing is I'm going sort of almost to the end of my motion. I expand it that little bit further to expand the muscles out my groin to open up a little bit further than what I normally would, and then let them rubber band in to make the punch. So it's expand, push is the feeling I want. And that also allows you for the rhythm that this particular technique has, which is 1, 1, 2. Expand the rubber band, expand it, let it go, is the feeling. Here, expand the rubber band, expand it, let it go. This feeling. So the feeling is not necessarily in the upper body, it is there, right? I'm using this, but it's really in the hip. Expand further, then slam. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. This feeling. So what I would like you to do now is practice going up and down the line. Uchi Uke, Kazami Gyaku. Uchi Uke, Kazami Gyaku. One other just very quick point just on Kazami Zuki. Make sure that you're pointing as you hit. Make sure that you're not expanding through the body. Don't stretch like this. If you do that, I can't engage my pec. Right, my pec and my frontal delt, my frontal shoulder, are the two major muscle groups firing us forward. If you expand too far out, I now have to contract my rear delt, which is a really tiny muscle. So as you punch, as you make Kazami, don't do this massive expansion out. There are times where that's important because you're just out of distance. Remember, this is Kihon, where it's basic. Everybody's in distance. Feel rather this push, but if you notice, there's only a very slight rotation to my upper body, maybe 5-10 degrees, that allows me to connect still through my pec and through my back at the end of the technique. If you can feel both those engage, you're in good shape. So don't hyperextend it. Good. So press pause, give that a go. Excellent. And then of course you move into the idea for downgrades and above of the stepping. This is exactly the same. You just start from kame, you drive in, 1, 2, right? So again, feel, this is where that timing that we're talking about comes into play. You may or may not feel the need to move this hand. 1, right, classic, 1, then uchi, bang, right? If you don't move this hand, right, which is more advanced, if you can make the kime, 1, 1, 2, I'm already there. You can make that happen. Then from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we do it classic way, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. This feeling, or you can think about it sort of not moving this hand a little bit more loose. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This feeling. And again, once you've hit, relaxing out. Right, that kind of feeling, developing that looseness within the technique. So what I encourage you to do to develop that looseness is here, just practice. Bum, bada, bum, pum, pum. Relax. Practice it that way, or if you do the more clever one, right, pum, bada, pum, pum, pum. Just have that feeling, that nice smoothness of technique, and the ability to let go between each one. Then start adding some juice, right? So from here, feeling this feeling as you start to drive. So go away, practice that, and then come back. Excellent. So this particular technique, the Uchi Uke, for being a very simple technique, is this beautiful expression of how you're able to expand your hips out and then dial them straight back in. And that's what I think examiners are really looking for in that particular piece. I know I am. I'm checking things like when they make the Kazami, are they pushing in just with their upper body and leaving their butt behind? Or are they driving off that rear leg to make the hit that they want, right? As they slam shut, are they just sort of rolling forward, or are they driving underneath? So is the movement not necessarily coming from expanding and collapsing of the chest? That happens and is important, but is it reliant on it? I'm looking at the expansion and contraction through the hips, right? Pom, 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 that feeling. And so with that thought, I hope you have an awesome day. I look forward to talking with you all again soon, and take care. Hey, us. Thank you very much.